It feels that way. I mean, it really does feel as though any common bonds that we once shared are basically disintegrating, and that you're being pressured into mimicking the belief that all those bonds are gone. So even if you believe that the bonds aren't really frayed and that really we should have some stuff in common, if you say that out loud, you're part of the system. You're part of the white supremacist system. And it's such dangerous stuff. I mean, as we're sitting here, in the last few hours, there was a sort of graphic that came out from the National Museum of African American History and Culture, which is a Smithsonian Institute, taxpayer-funded institution.
By the government.
Funded by the government. And it was all about whiteness and the evils of whiteness. And among the evils of whiteness, things that we have all integrated into our lives because of the prevailing system of white supremacy, were things like hard work, individualism, justice, time management, delayed gratification, science. I'm not kidding. This is all in the document. These are all things that are listed as elements of white supremacy that must be rejected in order to move forward into a better, more progressive world.
I'm Dave Rubin, and this is the Rubin Report. Quick reminder, everybody, to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click that notification bell, especially on a day like today when I have a guest so dangerous that we're going to get in a lot of trouble. You understand? The man sitting across from me, that's right. It is Ben Shapiro, author of the new book, How to Destroy America in 3 Easy Steps. Here we go again, my friend.
I know. Just get ready for it. You get it worse than I do. I mean, honestly, I'm okay. My people will be fine. You're the one who pays the price.
Do I get it worse than you? I'm not sure. You have a very dedicated group of people at Media Matters who sit and wait for you to nod or to move in a way that they can imply is white supremacist. I have a bunch of anonymous anime genderless trolls on Twitter.
That's fair.
These are very different
that's fair.
things.
I have a full employment program going over at Media Matters. I know we have at least one, maybe two people who are on us basically full time at Daily Wire. So that's exciting. I mean, I'm glad that we can create jobs in all sectors of the economy.
We are creating jobs. I think the obvious way to start this interview, because I want to focus on your book, but of course we have to talk about some of the things. I don't know if you've heard there's a pandemic and then riots. Have you?
I missed all of this.
You haven't heard about it? I know
I've been out of it just a little bit, yeah.
You're a busy guy. But, I titled my book, Don't Burn This Book. And then basically the day the book came out, every store that had the book was on fire.
Right. Well, you didn't say don't burn the store, to be fair.
I didn't say don't burn the store that,
houses
the book. Now, your book is called How to Destroy America in 3 Easy Steps.
It was about how to burn your book. Yeah, that's the basic gist of it.
But of all times, America does seem like it's being destroyed right now, and that's what you titled the book. And I know a little something about writing. You finished this book when? How long ago?
December, January.
Okay, so actually not that long.
No, this is a quick write. So what happened is that I had gone to Israel for the Jewish holidays. I came back, and I just looked around the country, and I thought something is really, really deeply wrong. I mean, even more wrong than it has been in prior iterations. And it's been wrong for a while. I mean, there have been things that have been going wrong, which is why I wrote the previous book, Right Side of History, which was the country's kind of falling apart.
Right,
what do we do? What common values do we hold? And then I thought, well, we really need sort of a nation-specific book about what we're supposed to be sharing, because obviously there's this widespread perception that we share nothing, right? The only thing that we share is an oppressive, evil, terrible, bigoted system. And so I come back from Israel, I called up my publisher. I have a 2-book deal with my publisher, and my publisher, I actually had another book that was slated to come out probably the beginning of next year. And I said, I want to rush a book out before the election. I want it to be called How to Destroy America in 3 Easy Steps. And I'm going to write it in the next 6 weeks. And they were like,
do you write as fast as you talk?
I do. Thank God I write incredibly. That was actually little known Ben Shapiro facts. I used to, there are many of them, but one of the least well known is I was a ghostwriter for many prominent figures for probably a decade. And it's how I supplemented my income. So I have something like 7 or 8 New York Times bestsellers that are not under my own name. I was the quick write specialist. Publishers would come to me. There'd be some prominent figure who, had 3 weeks to go until deadline, and they'd be like, "Okay, well, you've got 1 sentence. What do we do?" And so they'd turn me over the book, and I'd write an entire book in a month. So
can I get you to write a couple of their names on the back of that paper for me?
I'll tell you later. If not in violation of my NDAs, guys.
Yes.
But in any case, it was written at white heat, and it was very easy to write because the structure of the book is very obvious. I mean, the basic idea.
We don't go that far yet. I want to talk structure.
Well, we'll get to it in a second.
I wrote down all 6 chapters because I want to talk structure.
All right, sounds good.
I think the way you broke it down actually is super interesting. But before we do full book stuff, let's just talk about the world as it is at the moment for just a little.
Do you bleep on the show?
Oh, you can curse your brains out. But what do you mean? You don't curse.
I know, but I do. If you promise me you'll bleep it, then I'll curse.
Oh, yes, my people will bleep it.
Yeah, we're sort of.
I've been waiting for that for a long time, Shapiro, because I've heard you say fuck off. My guys don't have to bleep my fuck; they can bleep your fuck.
Yeah,
I've heard you
right.
say fuck privately, and then you put your little.
Well, as you know, there is a
Twitter.
bit of a gap between public persona and in private I curse a blues tree because
Yeah.
so that's not a great shock, but yes.
Okay, so yeah, let's just do it for a little bit. Are we fucked? Like, what the hell is going on here right now?
It feels that way. I mean, it really does feel as though any common bonds that we once shared are basically disintegrating, and that you're being pressured into mimicking the belief that all those bonds are gone. So even if you believe that the bonds aren't really frayed and that really we should have some stuff in common, if you say that out loud, you're part of the system. You're part of the white supremacist system. And it's such dangerous stuff. I mean, as we're sitting here, in the last few hours, there was a sort of graphic that came out from the National Museum of African American History and Culture, which is a Smithsonian Institute, taxpayer-funded institution.
By the government.
Funded by the government. And it was all about whiteness and the evils of whiteness. And among the evils of whiteness, things that we have all integrated into our lives because of the prevailing system of white supremacy, were things like hard work, individualism, justice, time management, delayed gratification, science. I'm not kidding. This is all in the document. These are all things that are listed as elements of white supremacy that must be rejected in order to move forward into a better, more progressive world. And so all the things that you would think like, yeah, I feel like we should all have this in common, like, science. This one we should have in common. There's a whole movement to say, no, all of these things are outgrowths of an evil system. And that in turn is the result of an absolutely despicable redefinition of the term racism from what it used to mean for virtually all of human history, but certainly since the 1960s, to what it means now. So in the 1960s, racism was what we all think of racism as, believing in the inferiority or superiority of a particular racial group. Right? Very easy definition. You can spot it wherever you see it, right? I mean, it's not hard. It's a very easily applied definition. And then there's been an attempt in the last several years to redefine racism to mean any system that results in racial inequality is itself racist. And so if you are not seeking the destruction of that system, you are complicit in racism. And in order to be anti-racism, you have to seek to destroy that system. Well, every system in human history has resulted in inequality of some sort or another because human beings have different capacities, we make different choices. If you literally
are you telling me we're not all exactly the same? We don't have all the exact same thoughts and gifts and skills? You're telling me...
Stop being racist. Stop it. So
we're slightly different.
Ibram Kendi specifically writes this, right? In How to Be an Anti-Racist, he says, literally, any system that generates racial inequality is a racist system. And so therefore, it's not like you're a bad person because you're a racist. You're just a product of the system or you're upholding the system. And in order for us to fight that racism, we have to fight the system itself. And so anything that is part of that system, anything and everything that is of that system, is tainted by racism and must be ripped down completely. And if you are complicit in the system by doing things like hard work and individualism, you're an assimilationist, right? This is what Ibram Kendi says in How to Be an Anti-Racist. And Robin DiAngelo sort of mirrors this. And you're saying to yourself, wait a second, aren't you closing in an awful lot of doors to black Americans and minority Americans? Like the pathways to success in a free system are things like hard work, individual effort, thinking ahead, delayed gratification. Like this is not unique to capitalism or the evil American system or anything.
Right. But also, what are you saying about black people?
Right. You're saying it's insane. I mean, David Duke could write this shit.
Right.
I mean, he really could. I mean, David Duke could write the idea that whiteness is about hard work and individual initiative and religious adherence and family structure.
Yeah.
Right? That's crap David Duke would write.
Yeah.
But the anti-racists are writing the exact same crap, and then they're saying, yeah, but all those things are bad, right? And if we just got rid of our adherence to these systems, well, then we wouldn't really have to have standards that we hold people to, and then equality would be the result. I mean, that's insanely dangerous stuff. But because the charge of racism is the most highly charged charge you can make against somebody. It's the worst thing you can call somebody in America, and for good reason, because that is an awful thing to be, right? I mean, it's an awful thing to say about somebody. It's an awful thing to be. Because that is such a highly loaded term, it's so easy to cudgel people into line. All you have to do is just acquiesce. All you have to do is be the person who cheers on the guillotines as the guillotines chop off heads, and we'll leave you alone. Now, we're not going to say that you're left alone forever, right? That this only holds true until the time for the next guillotining. I really feel like in this situation, it's very much like the action movie where the bad guy comes to the good guy and he's got some blackmail to hold over his head, and the good guy says, "Well, how do I know you won't use it?" And the bad guy goes, "You don't." Right? That's the anti-racist movement.
Yeah.
They figure that they can call you a racist, and they will hold that over your head until you acquiesce in all the things. And if you don't acquiesce in this one little thing, then you will be ruined and you will be destroyed and you will be targeted as part of the opposition.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of nonstop yelling, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist, all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.